Radical review. That means square root review. How do I simplify it? How do I multiply them? How do I divide them? Here we go. Have a list of numbers. 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, 5 squared, 6 squared, and I can keep going. You're going to need that list. Maybe you want to put it on your paper when you do your homework, when you do your tests or quiz, write them down. We're going to need those. Simplifying, square root, 75. What is the biggest number that goes into 75? Which one of these can multiply to 75? I believe it's 25. So this is the square root of 25 times 3. Now I can simplify. Square root of 25 is 5. That comes on the outside of the radical. On the inside is 3. 5 radical 3. Not looking for a decimal. This is pre-calculus. When we ask you, when we have a radical, we want to simplify. We want to keep the radical, keep the square root. Multiplying. Multiplying square roots, we multiply. We multiply the insides. Problem 2. Square root 6x times square root 8x. Multiply the insides, that's easy. 48x squared. From here, there are 2 parts. We got the number part, which we just talked about. And then we got the letter part, the variable part. There's a number here that we don't write, but it's there. It's a 2. It's the square root of 2. That's going to be helpful in a minute. Let's do the letter part, the variable part. That's the new part. Take this number 2 and divide it by this number. 2 divided by 2 is 1 evenly. So that means there's going to be 1x on the outside and none left on the inside. The remainder is nothing. So there is no x's on the inside. Simplify 48. Which one of these numbers? What's the biggest number that goes into 48? 4 goes into 48, but it's not the biggest. 16 is the biggest number that goes into 48. 16 times 3. Square root of 16 is 4, so it's 4x radical 3. Next. Try another one. Square root 32, x to the third. I'll do the variable part first. This is a 2. 3 divided by 2 is 1. 1 on the outside. But I have 1 left over. 1 left over stays on the inside. I'll leave a space here and put x. 3 divided by 2 is 1 with 1 left over. 32. Biggest number that goes into 32. Not 36, not 25, but 16 again does. 16 times 2 is 32. Square root of 16 is 4, so it's 4x radical 2x. See how this list is important? We need this list. Next, this one's actually really easy. Square root of 25 over 64. All you do is take the square root of the top and over the square root of the bottom. Square root of 25 is 5, square root of 64 is 8. 5 over 8. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, a couple more. Couple means 2. Square root of 72, x to the third, over square root of 8x. So if they're both a square root, I can rewrite it like this. Put a big old square root. 72 x to the third over 8x. Simplify this. We worked on this last week. So I'll write it over here. Square root of 72 divided by 8 is 9. X to the third, x to the first, that should be x squared. Simplify this. This is beautiful. Nice and easy. We don't need this list. What's the square root of 9? Square root of 9 is 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1 evenly. So it's just 3x. 3x is our answer. That gobbledygook up there, 3-4 steps, bam, there it is. You've got to show your work. If you don't show your work, it's not going to be right. Last one. It's crazy. This is where we get into pre-calc, because that was algebra 2. This is pre-calc stuff now. Don't freak out. It'll be fine. Square root 500 x to the third over square root 10 x to the negative 1. Rewrite this. If you try to do this in your head or try to do something else, you'll probably do it wrong. Rewrite it. Big old square root of 500 over x to the third over 100 x to the negative 1. What does a negative exponent mean? You better know this. You studied this. You have no problem now because you studied it. This moves to the top. X to the first. 3 plus 1 is 4, so it's going to be x to the fourth. 500 divided by 100 is 5. Got a square root. I don't have to show every step here, but I showed most of them. So in your classwork, show most of them. 5. Which one of these numbers goes into 5? None of them. Sometimes you can't do anything with it, so it's just going to be square root 5. So square root 5. 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2 evenly. So it's going to be x squared on the outside. No x's on the inside. That's your quick review of how to simplify radicals.